Good morning, beautiful. I do hope that this finds you well rested and ready to begin your day. This is your daily tarot and oracle, your daily insight on life and love for October 26th, 2021. And I'm recording it on the 25th of October. So I forgot to do a shout out for the 25th reading. I want to give a happy birthday to my girl, Cass. It's been awesome getting to know you through the years. You have been just, you've been awesome. I'm watching you just evolve, just getting to know you. You've been awesome. So I want to give you that shout out. You're a beautiful human and I absolutely adore you. So now, now that I finally got that off my chest, now that we are here for the Daily Tarot and Oracle for October 26, 2021, also being timeless, what do you need to know? Invisibility and authenticity. How? How is that even possible? You're not invisible. You're not fading away. Your authenticity is the biggest part. And yes, I'll have blindness to people who can't see your authenticity, who can't participate in your authenticity. But it's not something that you shy away from. How? Lady de los Muertos, acceptance and equality. It is contrary, but it's contrary to belief, but it's very much true. Your authenticity and how you accept yourself, how you show up to the world in your realness every single day and accept who you are is when you can actually make a change within you, outside of you, so on, so forth. Right now you have magic in your hands. I do feel like you've died 1,000 deaths. And that's hard. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. What you have gone through is very much a challenge. And I think that you coming out on the other side of this, while it's bittersweet and beautiful, and I gotta congratulate you for this, it's not easy. And also, when you have come out on the other side of this, it is this huge sense of accomplishment. And it's like this time that you can finally exhale as if to say, I made it. And you really did. I can't say that enough. You truly did make it. So now that you have made it, now that you've lived, what does it feel like? How do you feel different? Lady de los Muertos, acceptance and equality. I think that you see the potential and the possibility that resides in everybody. But not everybody is willing to utilize their magic. And you don't have the control to push somebody to their potential. Can't drag them kicking, screaming, and crying to their destination. That creates karma for you. So what I'm seeing here is you discovering that, hey, I know who I am. I know what I can do. I know what I want. I know who I am. I know how far I have to go with this. When you have that level of realization and acceptance, you, my dear, can really create some magic. And that's what you're doing now. You've recognized the potential, the ability of you. You've also accepted your so-called shortcomings, your so-called faults, and now nobody can use that against you or use it as an insecurity. You can actually use that to an advantage. Isn't that something? I love it. All right, let's get some messages from Rider-Waite. Now that you have this completely boss level of acceptance and realizations about yourself, you are planting some very important seeds. Be very intentional with what you are going to be reaping. You are planting for the new harvest of your life. Look at the farmland behind it. It's completely clear. It's all set up and ready for you. This is going to take time to come to fruition, and you're going to have to care and tend to this garden. And I think that you will. I think that you have to figure out exactly what it is that you do want to plant for now. So we have the Knight of Pentacles. This is going to be coming through to you in messages or messengers. You are going to be having stupid amounts of signs and synchronicities with you. That's right, I said it, signs and synchronicities, stupid amounts, which, you know, it's an actual measurement. Look it up. Go ahead, tell me what you find. One step at a time. You have a lot of work in front of you with this. I think that it's not necessarily hard work. I think it's a lot of work. I think that it's also good stress, but it's stress nonetheless. Stay focused. We have a lot of focus and we have a lot of clarity in here. We have a lot of fire. We have a lot of earth. This is something that is definitely going to erupt. That's actually one of my favorite things to do with the cards that come out when I'm looking in pairs or something, when I'm looking at the dominating energy of the cards. Sometimes, you know, it's perfectly balanced, but I love to see what the combinations are. Earth and fire is going to make some sort of a volcanic eruption. We have water and fire, which is going to really boil things over, steam. Then you have air and earth, which is going to make things dusty all over. It's going to suffocate you. And then you have the water and earth, which is going to make the mud. There's always ways of pairing it off. So then we have, why are you insecure? Oh, no, maybe not. Maybe it's not insecurity. Maybe this is more about you needing information in this new phase. There's something that you have to learn about yourself, and this is involving the Emperor. And you having to let some people go. You having to make some really difficult choices. It's pretty black and white with that. It's a simple answer, but it doesn't mean that it is easy. I feel like you have made the choice. I feel like it was a challenge for you to follow through with it, but there's certain things that are not going to be conducive moving forward. Certain actions, certain situations, certain people around you, it's not going to be productive for where you're going. And it's not that you hate them, it's just this is something that is stifling you. So we have the Emperor here. How do you want to run your kingdom? How do you want to present yourself? How do you want to show up? And it is very important with where you expend your energies and who you have who you give access to you. It really does say a lot, and you really do become the people and the situations that you allow yourself around. Are you going to build yourself up? Are you going to see the potential in people and try to build them up? Because I got to tell you, you cannot fulfill that destiny for them. You can show them the door, but they have to choose to walk through. So that is actually a huge anchor that I need you to be aware of. Don't push somebody to walk through a door that they're not ready, even though you know that they could handle it. It interrupts your karma. You have to do this solely for yourself. You can't do it for your parents. You can't do it for your partners. You can't do it for your kids, unfortunately. And that sucks, because I know that there's so much that I would want to do for my children that I simply cannot, because it is their life. And, you know, you have to guide them, but not live vicariously through their actions. You know what I'm saying? So, agree, disagree, I don't necessarily care. Point of opinion. So, all right. This, you have to be very discerning with who you allow around you and what this story tells about you. You might very well be a very humongous rescuer. I got it. Preaching to the choir on that one. You cannot save everybody on that. And you have to make the choice with who is not going to be moving forward into the next phase. If you need to break the ice, listen to, I know this is going to sound cheesy, but listen to your soul song. There's a lot of harsh energies out there. There's also a lot of enabled energies out there. They're not in tune with your soul song. Listen to your soul song. What is it telling you? It's what's going to move you forward. It's going to help you not get in over your head. And I also feel like it's going to take the edge off of the process in order to get away from these anchoring energies. It doesn't need to be this big dramatic display. I know that's really hard to see in some cases, but the process, the progress that you make and how these naturally dissolve, this is where you see the triumph. It doesn't need to be this big painful thing. It's sometimes you notice that you're talking to people less and less. Sometimes you know that you've lost touch with people on a very physical level. It's just a natural process. You found what you are looking for. You know what you're about. You know what you have to walk towards. You have a major vision. I don't want you to hide away with that. And you're not going to screw this up. The thing is, Spirit is giving you an opportunity to use discernment when it comes to the people who you are bringing forward with you. It's kind of like the guardian who's watching their child or their, you know, whatever it is that they're watching over. But when something is learning to grow, stand up, walk on its own, you're guiding it, and you're going to make sure that it's not going to get hurt, but you know that it has the potential to, you know, get some bumps in there. So that's what I'm seeing in this. Spirit is watching over you. It's kind of guiding you through this. It's going to allow for bumps along the way, because that is really what's going to get you to pay attention to what you are walking with. Also, it's giving you the choice and the chance to step up and declare yourself, declare your words. There's a huge reward. Maybe it's less stress, maybe it's a gift, but there's a huge reward if you do use your voice in this before Spirit has to intervene with it. And you have a vision for where everything is going, and I don't want you to hide it. You know exactly where you want your life to go, but the thing is, you have to decide also what is not part of that. So you have an idea, you have an end game in mind, or at least a feeling of it. You're getting into alignment with it. Now it's time to start picking and choosing. So, what are some things to look out for? They will not be part of this. No, it's not that. That I gear more towards people who have maybe good intentions, but not necessarily the vision that you do, not the sense of risk that you do. Also, I think that it's maybe don't get lost in other people's points of view and traditional values, because I see whatever you is, what you is? Is you is, always you ain't my baby. Yeah. Okay. I'm not looking at any more. We have the base chakra, we have the sacral chakra, we have the parents. So, some things to look out for with this. Overwhelming thoughts and energies, intense energies, harsh energies. Maybe some who have more of a contained and safety mindset rather than you taking the risk, you breaking traditions, you, I think, paving your own path. Because while they will have good intentions, It is not the right intentions for you. This is something that is fearing for them, not necessarily for you. So don't fall back into old patterns, safety patterns, patterns of other people. Stay away from harsh energies, the people who make this impossible, who look for fault in everything, who don't dare to dream, who don't dare to get out of their own misery. That's actually something that's been coming up a lot recently. The people who complain about everything and they want change, they can't stand something, and yet they don't make the conscious effort to get out of it. Now, if you're offended by that, I'm not really trying to offend you, so that's something to look at. And again, I'm sorry, it's not my intention. But also, they're going to make excuses on why they can't do something. You are more than capable. You have a dream, you have a vision, you have the ability to do it. Visualize success. It doesn't happen overnight. It's like the paper towel effect. You rip one off, you don't really see the difference. Rip off another, you don't really see the difference. But you keep going at it consistently, and you start to really see the difference, and at some point you get to the end game. You have some things that you need to learn here. And it also says heal away addictions. Now, you may have addictive personality traits. You may have addiction problems. You may easily slip into bad habits. I'm not judging you. It's all over the board. But you need to be aware of what your vulnerability to those addictive patterns and behaviors are. Because once you feel success, once you start to feel headway change, your brain does the most genius yet dumb thing possible. And it's everybody's brain, not just yours. It sees that you have broken through a barrier. And while that's awesome, it's now in an unknown territory. So what it does is it deems that this is now in survival mode. And it's no longer safe. Now we need to be hyper vigilant, hyper on guard. And it's like in fight or flight or hyper awareness of everything, overly critical of every situation, and looking for the worst case scenario. It's just kind of there. It's in our survival tactics, you know, through our DNA, through the generations. It's just there. So it's like you're not afraid of the dark. You're afraid of what's in the dark. And that's exactly what your psyche is doing. So it tries to inch you back into its nice little safe box. Nice little safe box of complacency? Yes. And you put a nice little bow on it and you send it off. Never to open again. We're not doing that. We're not going to do it. Because you don't fit in that box anymore. You hated the box. You don't want to go to the box. Your brain wants to tell you to be safe, but your other part of your brain, the more progressive part, is telling you, you need to challenge yourself. You want more. You've wanted more. You want to go after more. You know that there's more to life. Go get it. So you're going to be at odds with yourself for a little while. There's a lot that you need to learn and a lot that you need to be aware of about yourself and of your drive. And I'm not judging you, and I don't want you to judge yourself with those fears, because it's very natural. I want you to be aware of it and aware of what it's trying to do, because it's not evil. It's trying to keep you safe, or at least in its mindset what it is safe. But you are going to get comfortable and uncomfortable, and you are going to have greatness kind of granted to you through all this effort and consistency. You already know that the end game in mind is winning for you. There's no way that you can fail at this. Keep at it, and consistency. Now, it's not the fly hitting the window trying to get outside. I do feel like you will be getting this at another angle, and you won't have to try so hard. So that's also something. It's not a matter of how hard you can hit it every single time. It's about looking for not the easiest way, but the more productive way there, I guess I want to say. So that's what you have to look forward to. The end result of this reading, I am feeling, is going to be in here. God box, release. I want you to work on your communication with spirit, source, creation, whatever it is. We have God box, and we also have release and goddess. This is the end game, spiritual connection, and also huge manifestation, I think, connection there. Express your divine feminine energy, embracing its magical intuition and nurturing qualities. Wrap yourself around yourself and give yourself a big old hug. Work with Archangel Michael to let go of what no longer serves you and your purpose. Yes, you're going to have to be constantly in the flow state of this no longer works or serves my purpose. I release it. You're not dropping it like a tot and running. No, this is outgrowing things. When we outgrew things as children, we moved on to the next set of clothes, didn't we? This is kind of the same thing on a spiritual front. It doesn't mean that it's garbage. It means that you pass it down to the next person who's going to fit into it. And then we have the God box. Write any worries, cares, or concerns on a piece of paper. Then you put it into a special container called the God box. And it's a way of letting go and letting the divine help you. So divine intervention and help and guidance, and learning to release the control factor for you in there. And again, instead of leading this with intensity and authority and momentum, all those things, because they are great and they are so productive, it's kind of like hitting oobleck with this. You're going to have to really make the most headway with a gentle approach, a curious approach, and an awareness approach. So the end game is let go, let God, and get creative with it. That's your soul song. And success is really yours at the end of this. And again, consistency. I do really hope that that made sense. If you have questions about booking a private session, reach out in the email address provided, or you can find me on the social platforms and send me a DM. I do look forward to hearing from you. And until next time, stay safe, have fun, and just know that you're greatly loved and appreciated. Bye for now. Alrighty, take two. I was a minute in, and my son decided, hey, I need to help him find a towel for dishes. Mom life, you know? All right, so this is what we were looking at. The first card that came out was this, but it was upside down. These are actually all upside down the way that they should be. So it was a major vat of insecurities. You want this awesome commitment. You want something that is passionate. You want a fresh start, a new aspect of, I guess, your identity. It's not far-fetched. It's really not. I feel like there's a lot to learn, maybe I can talk, and a lot to share. There's a lot that you have to share about this experience, because these insecurities definitely got the best of you, and I think that it stifled the entire throat chakra. I know exactly how that feels. Can't tell you how much I hate it. And this is what we're looking at right here. You're not going to ever shut up again. I'm just going to put that out there. Beautiful, fun, friendly. You got some things that you got to say, and you're getting away from this overwhelming, obsessive, compulsive in a negative way, tyrant-like energy. You're ready to move on. You want this commitment. So I want the advice and how you get away from Tweedledum here. Oh yeah, I said it. Really, so many cards just fell. This is going to turn into a full-blown read. Not going to do that right now. All right, so I'll keep these that fell over top of it. Stop worrying about them watching you. It doesn't even matter. You have to open your eyes and see that while this is an option, it's probably not a viable one. You have so many options in front of you. You want something that is going to take its time, that's not rushing to a finish line with you. And I see that I think that it's time that you actually look and make the decision, make the judgment about this particular person, because I see the duality of this particular person. I see their good qualities, I see their bad qualities, but we start to water down the negative qualities, don't we? Don't do that. There's more information that needs to come through with you, and I think that it's more of actualizing the knowledge I think that was pushed back about you. I don't know, kind of like gaslighting yourself, and you need to have an honest look at yourself and what this person brought out of you. You have such better options and what's going to be a positive and compatible relationship for you, and something that is going to take its time and slow down with you. I don't think it's settling. I think that this is grounding. You have your options. Hey there, gorgeous. If you found your way across this, chances are you need a mini message. We're going to be using Rider-Waite right now. So with an open heart and an open mind, let's see what these cards want to tell you. Alrighty. Sorry, that was just a horrible shuffle. All right, I need better cameras. I need more than one camera. Yes, I saw the Two of Cups and the Ace of Swords. I'm not really feeling like I'm supposed to keep them out, so we're gonna see what happens. What just flew out? Seven of Swords. All right, there's something that you gotta feel like you get away from in here. Yeah. Oh, unfocused feminine energy. I feel like the feminine energy is completely scattered. And yes, I know it's swords. I said swords. Shush. Two of Cups came out again. Son of a gun. There's so much focus on a connection in your life that isn't working, no matter how much you try and work on it, no matter how much you try and do. You got to see this for what it is. You have pushed yourself to the brink, and whatever the connection is, it doesn't have to be romantic. What I'm seeing is you're not seeing the payoff. And I think that you need to step back, collect your thoughts, and you may have to distance yourself in whatever this connection is, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. There needs to be some distance to gain actual insight on it. What's this? Yeah, you need a space from this person. You guys are not seeing eye to eye. You guys are not balanced, and it looks like you've been doing so much work. You're trying to be strong for all parties involved. You burnt yourself out. You can't see clearly. You're suffering, and I think that you keep thinking that if I keep myself busy at this, if I keep with the discipline, if I just focus, if I try this at a different angle, maybe. Why does it have to rest on your shoulders? This person, whoever it is, again, doesn't have to be romantic. It's not always a romantic partnership. This is a soul bond. This is a soul contract here. You're seeing that you're carrying the weight of the entire connection. This is not fair. They are more than capable of doing it. They're not, by either their own self-destructive tendencies or by being enabled in unhealthy ways, tools, mechanisms. But it's not your cross to carry here. So step back, give yourself some space, give an opportunity to step up if they want, but otherwise, let them go. Hey there, lovely. If you found your glorious, magnificent, mystical, magical way across this, chances are you need a message from Rider-Waite. Nobody's following. Nobody is catching on to this. I feel like there's no clear lines. No real established boundaries. There needs to be another route with this. Wow. There's a huge sense of duality here, or duplicity. And you're not seeing any other way that this could go, but why is there a lesson here? Why is, justice being served? Yeah. Are you hanging on and trying to go every route with us because... Hang on. Baby, you are getting through this dependency issue with this particular situation or person in your life. You're getting over dependency. You're getting over this need to be validated, this need of security. However you are hanging on to the person, the scenario, I see that you are genuinely letting it go. You're not going to rely on somebody who isn't reliable. And for somebody who's dangling something over your head, whether it's your good nature or your love, whatever they feel like they have, I see that you are not giving them that power anymore. You're taking your power back is what it is. And justice is being restored with you. Congratulations, karma lesson learned. This is a soul contract. And I do see that there's a pivot for you, a change, a victory. The situation looks like it has escalated. It has been, you know, as a whole, this has been escalating. Even though sometimes it feels like there's a lull, it feels like there's something that has pulled back. It's the arrow launching you into something. So this entire situation has been coming up to a head. You're in your new phase, and I see that I feel like you're disgusted by this energy. Like you are truly seeing them for the magnificent POS they are, and you have ultimately decided not to play games anymore. I'm really excited by this, but also I'm sorry for the stress that this has played on you. And also I'm sorry that you feel like you haven't been seen by this person. I don't feel like they genuinely saw you for all that you were and are. I don't think that they genuinely knew how to appreciate it. But you seeing it now, I don't think that you feel the way that you used to feel. You let it go. Hey there, beautiful. If you found your way across this, chances are you need a message from Rider-Waite. Either something is getting spent or you're spent and ready to move on. So let's see what's up. Wheel of Fortune. Woo, that doesn't really tell me much. Everything is in divine order. I get it. But in regard to what? Yeah, it's in action. This is all action. You are walking away, staying away from negative. You have this fresh new start. It's really intimidating and challenging for you. It's like you don't know if you're up to snuff. So I see that this is, knock it off. You're terrified of moving forward. Listen, you have to see this for opportunity, what it is. Don't enter into this new phase with the plow up ahead, the masculine momentum, the take charge attitude. That's a really awesome spirit to have. I'm not knocking it. It's just not going to work here. You got to enter this with curiosity, with gentleness. Sometimes you don't need to hit everything like it's a nail. Sometimes you need to work through it or let it rest like dough. Horrible comparisons. I'm aware of this. Shut up. But listen, I know that you're intimidated. Instead of trying to show your dominance in the scenario and win everything over, why don't you start to ask questions? This is already coming in incredibly fast. Yes, it feels like you are kind of a newbie in it, and you kind of are, because this is a new phase. You got to be uncomfortable. Well, you got to be uncomfortable, but you also have to be comfortable in admitting your discomfort. There's nothing about this that won't be a challenge for you, but you don't need to mask those insecurities with a sense of bruteness. Talk about your vulnerability. Talk about your insecurities with us. Talk about your fears. Get your questions that have been hanging in the air answered. This is actually going to have a creative conversation coming in where I think it'll ease a lot of your stresses. This is shedding your tough identity, because I know that you've been tough, and actually coming in vulnerable and not passive, but showing that vulnerability. It's going to make you all the more problem solving and communicative, and it's going to really usher this on ahead. So don't be such a hard arse. So if you find your way across this, mini message from saints and angels. Run away! I always think of Monty Python's Holy Grail. Run away. Okay, so I am now getting the feeling that my parents apparently got when I was young and quoting Monty Python, because now my 15-year-old is quoting Monty Python to me, and I don't know how to deal with it. And this reminds me of that. So, my dear, it's time for you to step back, retreat. This isn't about you just getting away from it all. It's actually telling you to uninvest your energy, pull back, contain. There's a commitment that's coming into play. What's this commitment involving? We have an angel with a halo with two little girls at her sides. All right, you got to figure out how you genuinely feel about this. And once you make a decision, stick to it. Don't compromise. Oh, I love where this is going. There's nothing but feminine energy in this. You have a really hard time putting down that line. You've exhausted yourself. Now you actually have to be full on committed to your well-being, your emotional health, your positive mindset. And what I'm seeing here is your emotions are running wild. It feels like a mountain that you don't dare to climb, not because it's too high, but because it is in so much of a disastrous climate. It's frozen. You could freeze to death on this. This is saying you're not going to be screwed over. You're not going to be left behind. You do have spirit watching over you with this. You're giving ultimatum, maybe not to yourself, but to what you're putting out there. Either I have this or I'm not playing. That's just how it is. You really got to figure out how you feel and what you genuinely want from this. Whether it's a partnership, whether it's a career, whether it's a life situation, you got to figure out where your actual line is and stick to it. Don't compromise for other people because somebody is trying to tell you to see it another way. Babe, you have seen it a plethora of ways, endless amounts of ways. You have seen this at every point of this sphere. No, knock it off. You don't need to keep pulling back and being, well, maybe. No, enough of the compromise. You're not going to get screwed over in this. Heaven's watching over you. Stick to your guns on this. You have support. You just have to figure out what it is that you do want. Do it. Take two. It's one of those nights. So anyway, I was talking about this being a message from the Halloween Oracle deck. My son came and knocked, my other son. I have two boys. And this is what we're looking at. If you found your way across this, chances are, yes, you've been going through an ascension. Yes, you've been having ascension symptoms. Yes, you have been agitated. And if you're part of the collective, avoid confrontation for a little bit. Not that I don't love progressive confrontation. Let's work through the problem. But I'm recording this on the 25th of October, 2021. So wherever you're catching this in time, something astrologically is going to be happening with you where there's a need to avoid this kind of confrontation because you are very emotional. A lot of old stuff is getting mucked up. You're not crazy. You need to understand that. But this is also a play in the fusion of ascension. Something that you have been calling in, something that you have been working towards is coming to fruition right now. But I also feel like with what has been going on with you, this is, I think, the finish line towards whatever it is that you are walking towards. You have the eternal love. Love is love is love, and it transcends physical death, and there's illumination and change happening. I do feel like you are stepping into what seems to be for you a very new world, new mindset, new challenges, new way of viewing things. And I do feel like it's as if you've stepped into a new world. I know how crazy that sounds, but when something clicks into place and you have like that aha moment and you have this crystal clear view, just because something snapped into place, it's like you kind of have to observe the world as new around you. So I do feel like you're watching this play out, and it's illuminating all those little blind spots in you or around you that you have forgot that there was a chance or an opportunity of love. And I also feel like there's a love that is about to be expressed in your life. I feel like it's about to be illuminated. I feel like you're about to experience this emotional change. But now everything is bottlenecking and getting you to that. And, I'm definitely one to say, I've said this numerous times, this is bottlenecking because something was avoided and not processed beforehand. It's frustrating, I know, but here we are. This intensity is not without reason. If you did the work, it wouldn't be this bad. I'm just as guilty, I get it. But you have love that is coming into illumination. That's all I got for you.